Chodesh Tov, we are welcoming the new month of Kislev. And the root of this word Kislev comes from kesel, which means trust. We trust that as we're approaching winter and the winter solstice and concealment and darkness in our life, we trust that the light will return. We trust in our body. We trust in our heart's ability to heal at her own pace. And we trust that the light will not just be revealed, but will expand. If we look at the first Hanukkah story ever recorded, we learn something extraordinary about the property of light. And this story is recorded in the Talmud, the oral tradition. And the first festival of light, and really the first Yom Tov, the first holiday that was ever celebrated by humanity, was this first festival of light when Adam and Chava, Adam and Eve, were in the Garden of Eden. And it was their first winter. They had never experienced winter before, and you could imagine how scary that could be. The days were getting shorter, and it was getting darker, and they didn't have a seasonal guide or anyone to tell them that this is the way of the world. And so naturally, they thought that life was ending, that they were being punished, that the world was coming to an end. And so they fasted and prayed and cried and mourned for 8 days intensely. And then the winter solstice happened, the darkest moment. And then the next day, a glimmer of light appeared, more than the following day. And then the next day, they noticed a little bit more glimmer of light. And slowly, the days were getting longer and warmer. And they were so relieved that the world was not ending, and really that this was the way of the world, that darkness comes before light, that they celebrated this light for 8 days. And this was the first Hanukkah ever celebrated. We learn in Genesis, first there was evening and then there's morning. So not only is this shown in the physical world, but when we light the menorah on Hanukkah, first we start with the total blackness, like the winter solstice, and then mirroring this natural expansion of light, every day we light one more candle to remember that the light expands from this place. Especially in times of grief, especially in times of darkness like we're in right now, we may think that our light's heart is extinguished. We may think that it's gone. Yet we have to remember that it is continuously burning. And this is what we celebrate on Hanukkah, the light known as the Or HaGanuz, the hidden metaphysical spiritual light that is always there. And this was the light that was primordial, that was created at the very beginning of time. And our sages say it was tucked away and stored for the righteous. It was also the light that Adam could see from one end of the world to the other. It was the light that we saw at the burning bush when Moses saw. There is something interesting about this light that doesn't have to consume in order to be revealed. This is the Or HaGanuz that we see when we light the Hanukkah flames. When we look into the menorah, we are not just gazing at a physical light, but we're looking at this spiritual light as a reminder that our light is never, ever extinguished, that it burns continuously. So we'll begin our meditation, and I want to remind us, if you don't know, that the word for Hanukkah means dedication. We light the menorah and we celebrate the rededication to our inner lights, the rededication to the light that burns continuously, the Ner Tamid, the continuous, enduring light. And we don't just light the menorah in the center of our homes for ourselves, but we light it by the windows and the doors of our homes to demonstrate to the world that this light prevails in darkness, that we are ambassadors of light. And this is the dedication that I hope we can tap into our through our meditation. So let us begin by Finding any comfortable space that feels settling to you. And I invite you to close your eyes if that feels safe to you. You can set your palms down on the tops of your thighs. And we'll take a few sweeping breaths of Kessel, of this trust, letting our body trust in the chair beneath us, letting our body trust in the earth holding us. Trusting in the divine support around us. And also in this gathering that we're all holding each other energetically. And you're not going through this. You're not going into your inner worlds alone, but we're trusting in the support of the community and of the divine. So see if you can breathe a little bit deeper, trusting in the rhythm of your breath to bring you relaxation and calm that your system so deeply needs. Let the breath cascade trust every exhale through the body. And bring awareness to your heart space, the energy of your heart. And trust in your heart's process to heal, to grieve, to feel. And as we're crawling towards the winter solstice, we might feel traces of winter in the body, coldness, decay, fear, isolation. So just bring a gentle witness, a compassionate witness to whatever may be arising in the heart today. And amidst this winter darkness, we'll visualize a small, steady flame in the center of the chest. Visualize the soft, gentle colors of the flame, the gentle movement and dance of the flame. Feel the sensations of the heart as the flame warms this space of your chest. This light of the heart, this Or Haganuz, the hidden spiritual light, has always been there. Notice how it illuminates the whole palace of your heart. Notice what color of light this flame glows for you. From the sternum all the way back to the spine, from shoulder tip to shoulder tip, the glow of the entire heart space. See if you can deepen your breath as if you're gently blowing on this flame, causing it to expand the light through your body. And you can direct your breath to warm up any part of your body that needs some warm awareness. Every breath expands this light from the center of your chest outwards. Soon you pump this breath of light through the entire expanse of the body, illuminating your whole being. Just like in the Garden of Eden, it says that Adam and Chava had note or bodies of light, because the Or Haganuz revealed itself even through the physical skin. And as you breathe, see if you can feel an expansion, an openness through the body. Maybe the heart breathes open, the fingers spread, the forehead widens, the spine lengthens. For some of us, perhaps the light expands past the limitation of our skin, creating an aura of light around us. So from the center of the chest, the heart expands all the way around us, a glow of light, resembling the Hebrew letter of Kislev, the Samech, big circle letter. Samech means someach, support. So feel this glow of light around you, supporting you, basking in the divine glow. Notice what color or texture or energy this samech glows. Notice how your body, your being, illuminates your surroundings, just like the menorah illuminates the darkness of night. We become that menorah of light, ambassadors of light, illuminating all directions, above the crown, sweeping to the right, below our feet, illuminating towards the earth, and a glow, a bask of light sweeping to the left of us. And in the center of this divine hug is that steady flame of our heart. Bring your awareness back to the steady, small flame. Perhaps press your palms on your chest, feeling the warmth under your palms. Noticing the glow beneath your sternum. Feeling your heartbeat. And Hanukkah means dedication. So let's take a few silent moments dedicating ourselves towards serving this light in our heart. And letting this same light guide us. And please dedicate this light to someone or something that needs warmth or healing right now. And just like Adam could see with the Or Haganuz from one end of the world to the other, you have the power to send this light, the Or Haganuz of your heart, even to someone or something across the entire world. And gently dip the chin towards the chest, bowing towards this wisdom of the heart space, towards the light of the heart, and the wisdom of all the hearts in this Zoom room right now, and all the hearts listening to this practice on their own time. And on this new month, may this light guide us and propel us forwards to a month of peace and reconciliation and healing for the entire world. You can gently open your eyes. Chodesh Tov, thank you all for being here. Thank you so much, Jenna, for that beautiful practice. We seal this beautiful practice offering an opportunity for any of you who are in mourning or observing a yortzeit, if it is your practice to participate in the mourner's Kaddish, to do so. If you're not reciting Kaddish, you're invited to stay present and offer your compassion and love to those who are in mourning. And if you are observing Kaddish, you are welcome to put the names of anyone who you're remembering in the chat. The Kaddish words are here on our screen. So if you are reciting, I invite you to unmute yourself and join me in body or spirit to rise and recite the words together.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash meraba
Yitkadal,
b'mad
Yitkadash, Meraba,
yute
Bamadi,
yamechute
Yute,
yechon
Heyechon,
yomechon
Yomechon,
yechol Beit
Hey,
Israel
Beit
Galav B'zman Karav Yiru Amen Hesh meraba merach
Heshme, Rabba,
Mevarach
Mubarak, Olam,
Rach
Yame,
Yitchashmach
Olamaya,
Yitchashmach
Tara,
Mam v'yitasev yitadav
Yidabri,
tamim
Dabre, Lela, Kodesh,
tematal
Jiratat,
amiran
Umatad, Amram,
shlam
Amam,
shlama bad Yishmaya
Heshlama, Rabbi
Chayim
Yishmaya,
Kol
Hayim,
Israel
Aleinu,
Amen. Jesus say, Shalom, Shlama,
Shalom,
Aleinu Kol
Shalom,
Israel,
Shalom,
Kol Yoshvei Tevel.
Bimo Amen.
Al Kol Yoshvei Teva, V'Imam.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, everyone. And thank you again, Jenna, for that beautiful teaching and practice. So before we close, we'll share again here in the chat box the link to our website, where if you are able and moved, you can make a donation in support of the work that we're doing here at IJS to support the Jewish community and really all who
come to receive the nourishment and richness of Jewish spirituality and mindfulness. We are so grateful for your support, again, in whatever form it takes. Thank you for helping us to create this beautiful community of practice every day. For those of you who are leaving now, we wish you good health and Shabbat Shalom. We hope to see you again on Monday at the same time. And those who would like to are welcome to stay here to ask Jenna any questions or to share your reflections on today's meditation experience. So Jenna and I will remain here to have a little conversation on that teaching and practice. Jenna, thank you again so much. That it was so warming for me personally to find that light within my own heart and really just rest there with that. Want to make sure you're spotlighted here too. So to kick us off, Jenna, you mentioned in the beginning that the root word for Kislev this month that we are entering is Kesel, which is a kind of faith. And I have a couple of questions of this. One, I know that emunah is also a word for faith. Bitachon is sometimes a word that can be used for faith. I'm wondering if you can differentiate what is this word Kesel, to dive a little deeper, and what kind of faith or trust this is, how it might be different than other forms of faith or trust that we also invoke in our.
Beautiful question. I think someone's unmuted. If everyone could just mute. It's a little, oh, there, I found. So the way I think of Kesel is more of a bodily trust. Bitachon and Emunah for me feel more like mindful, that like belief, the training of your belief system. And Kesel is more of when your body actually can trust. And sometimes we can fool ourselves to think that we believe something, but our body never lies and shows us the truth. And it's a deep bodily wisdom and sensation. As we get to the winter months in the Hebrew calendar, we see that it's more about elevating the body's wisdom, especially when we get to Tevet. And the body part related to Kislev is the stomach, because deep down is, firstly, we process really slowly and digest through the stomach. But even deeper than that is like our womb wisdom, like our gut, our like deep all-knowingness. In yoga, it's called the hara. In Kabbalah, it's called the point of Zion. And when we can trust to the state where we don't have to convince ourselves in our mind, but our body just knows. And that takes a lot of mindfulness, practice, but it also takes going below the collarbones and actually entering into the deeper energy centers in our body.
Yeah, thank you for that distinction between the kind of cultivation that we can also do that's also really important on the level of mind and thought habits and belief and meaning making, and then this deeper embodied connection or experience, faith and trust.
Yeah, I also saw in the chat someone asked, where is this original story? So I'll put it in the chat, but it's Avodah Zarah 8a.
Thank you.
For whoever wanted to know. But yeah, that story has always been really, really inspiring to me, because sometimes I struggle with seasonal, mood, not a disorder, but definitely I find myself getting more lonely and more sensitive as the winter approaches, and we're not the first ones to feel that. And just to have trust and hope that the light will expand once again brings me a lot of reassurance that Adam felt that too.
Yeah, such a gorgeous story. And part of it that I really resonated with that you mentioned is the way that when the dark is so all-encompassing, it can be scary, right? It can feel really scary, and it can feel like, where did the light go? Is it ever going to return again? And the possibility of lighting that flame and tending that flame, and just remembering, right? Like reminding ourselves and each other that the light will return. This is how the cycle goes. And I think on that note, I'm wondering if you could speak a little bit about what it really means, or like if you even have any tips in your own life from your own practice of how to really connect with faith, with that kesel, right? With the trust, even in the midst of things feeling really dark and scary. Like, how do you find that when it feels really hard?
Yeah. Sometimes we feel a blackness in our body, like of grief, stricken with like fear, and we necessarily can't find it ourselves. We can't remember our own near tamid, our own inner flame. And sometimes it takes someone else to remind us of that flame. That's what a really good friend does. They're like, Jenna, hey, like, this isn't you. Remember, this is you. You're bright. You're this. And you want people around you who can remind you of your flame. And that's also what a Rebbe does, or a rabbi, or a spiritual leader. And we all need a mentor or a spiritual figure that can remind us of our inner light when we forget it, because we're not meant to do it alone. And of course, what happens when we put our flames together is we have a big bonfire, a glow, and that's what makes a really healthy, a warm community. And I saw someone asked in the comments, why did I mention Hanukkah this early? And something that's really interesting that the Kabbalists teach is we often think that, okay, Hanukkah is in Kislev and Hanukkah is about miracles. Therefore, all of Kislev is about miracles, or all of Kislev is about light. But actually, it's the other way around. The template of the month, the energy inherent in the month of Kislev, is that of light and miracles. And therefore, the story of Hanukkah took place in Kislev at the divine timing when it did. So at Rosh Chodesh, we're planting the seeds for the new month, and we're opening ourselves to the energy of that month. And so then when Hanukkah even occurs, we're already prepared, and we're already, we can capture those energies in us even before. So I find that very beautiful and special about the Hebrew calendar, is that we have guidance for each month of where to refine ourselves, and where to look for guidance, and what part of the body needs to be focused on, and what sense we want to elevate. And so it's really the invitation of the Hebrew calendar.
I love that. Yeah. And I think there's some power for me in this moment, even in just remembering the possibility of miracles. Feels like we could really use some miracles.
Yes.
So invoking that possibility and reminding ourselves of the miracles that happen, right, in those days at this time, as we say, and that cyclical nature, or spiral, that kind of spiral aspect of the Hebrew calendar. And by spiral, I mean like spiral versus circle, meaning that a spiral is similar to a circle in that you come around to the same spot twice, but actually on a spiral, even though you come around twice, you have grown, you have expanded, not quite the same. That's one of those beautiful functions.
Yeah. And speaking of miracles, the word in Hebrew, nes, for miracle, comes from nisayon, which means test. And someone asked in the chat somewhere, like, how can we, in times of war, think about light, and miracles? But it's actually in the most pressing times, in war, in the challenges of our life, that's when we see the greatest miracles. That's when light is most revealed. And I don't think we're ignoring the pain and the suffering of this time, but we're realizing that in the darkest time, even one candle can bring so much comfort and healing to so many people. The hush, the sense connected to Kislev, is sleep, but in a deeper way, it's dreaming. So before we can see the miracles in our life, first we have to dream them. First we have to envision what could possibly be different as a nation, as a world. And as we're collectively dreaming together, that's when we're forming a new era, a more peaceful era, the Olam Haba, like a whole nother world that we can't envision in our logical minds, but we can envision in our deeper subconscious.
Thank you for that. That is such a beautiful way to invite ourselves into that quality of dreaming during this month of Kislev. Is really the part of dreaming that has to do with like visionary imagination. Can we utilize this time of turning inward, of kind of being with ourselves and even in the darkness or the coziness at home, to really, vision, to imagine, to bring in the parts of ourselves that's also creative as we're like struggling and navigating this incredibly difficult moment. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I think a lot of us aren't necessarily in touch with our dreams when we're sleeping. And one way we can begin to train ourselves is to do creative visualizations with mindfulness. Even the one we did today together as the flame of the heart, like that takes creative visualization. And luckily, our tradition offers many, many creative visualizations that we can start to cultivate that skill.
Yeah. I just want to say, I see a hand raised there, but please do write your questions in the chat if you have them. That's how we'll answer questions here at the Daily Sit. Jenna thinks, often when people are asking about mindfulness in Judaism or Jewish meditation, one huge realm actually of like how meditation and contemplative practice is showing up in the Jewish tradition and in the mystical tradition is through this tradition of visualization. Right? And I'm wondering if you want to say any more about that. How might folks connect to that practice specifically of visualization and their meditation, especially during this time of dreaming and visioning?
Yeah, well, this month we have one of the primary examples, which is you can keep your eyes open and gaze at the flames of the menorah, just basking in the warmth of the flame and noticing the colors and gazing at the movement. And our sages have all different teachings about what every color signifies and what it means. But really, we're healing our eyes when we're gazing at the flames. So you can start by the menorah and look into them. And then when you're not by the menorah, you can close your eyes and envision it. And that's even a deeper level because you don't need the physical stimulus to elicit the same feeling and the same teaching that a physical flame does for us.
That is a beautiful reminder of there's these beautiful Kabbalistic meditations on the menorah itself. And I saw a bunch of folks saying in the chat, just recognizing, there's this beautiful beam of light that's never happened before. And I'll just sit here at this.
You have a great aura.
Times from this place. The light started coming in. It does have to do with the change of seasons, or the sun changes position in the sky. So it never like hit me quite in this way before, but it has been recently. And it's just another, this like earthy dimension of our practice where our emotional and spiritual invitations are so in alignment with our seasonal cycles and rhythms. There's just so much there always, right? To inspire and literally light up and direct also our spiritual practice. So thank you all for all of your beautiful comments and suggestions. I did see one other question about a book of blessings. Did you mention a book of blessings, Jenna?
Book of blessings today, was it?
Looks like someone asked.
Someone asked.
What book did you suggest about blessings? Is there a book
I don't think I did today. What book of blessings? I'm not sure what that's referring to, but we are all a book of blessings. And if I think of what you're speaking of, I can message you privately. I am located in Boulder, and I do have a website. I'll put it right there. And At the Well is, I work for At the Well as a Jewish education director. And this has been such an honor to be here to welcome in Kislev. I bless us all that we can, amidst this dark, tragic time, that we can all honor the warmth and the wisdom of our heart and be guided forth and see miracles, really, because we need them right now.
Amen. Thank you so much, Jenna,
Chodesh Tov.
for being here. Chodesh Tov. Shabbat Shalom. May the Shabbat
Shalom.
rest, renewal, and peace in our hearts as much as possible.
Amen. Thank you, Rebecca.